storylines as we know, buddy, but for OpTic Texas, man, win and you're into the winners bracket, lose and, well, you're not.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, man. Lose and you're not going to be in that winners bracket for your own major. So you got to completely forget about that loss yesterday versus New York. And you got to come out swinging, man. We got to get more discipline when we talk about a team like Atlanta FaZe, because those little mistakes that they were making yesterday, a team like Atlanta will be able to capitalize on it. When you took a look at our map Samosa that that's presented, I thought Atlanta FaZe did a great job of just taking Team B, because that means that they're able to choose that second search and destroy, which is LSilo. It's great. They basically get to choose the control as well and also the map forward. So I think if you are OpTic Texas, after suffering that difficult loss versus New York yesterday, you have to come out swinging early into the series, especially in this map number 1, because this is your best hard point. This is where you have to make it happen.
Yeah, well, we talked about it, right? After the loss that OpTic Texas suffered versus New York, so many people speculative on how this roster is going to perform. When they faced off against top teams, it's been 3-0 losses. Now they're facing off against the best in the CDL in Atlanta FaZe. Jay, to kind of provide a little bit more importance, right? Giving every single storyline, hitting on it from every single direction. How valuable is this opening hard point specifically for OpTic?
Oh, it's everything, man, because this is what they need to win. They need to win this in order to have a ground to stand on. Because after that difficult loss versus New York, you need to get momentum any way possible. Playing your best hard point in this map number 1 is exactly how you have to start it. But it's not like they have been one of the best teams on this map. The most recent matchup they did play against Toronto Ultra, and the reason why they lost is because their setups, once they rotate, you got to make sure you're playing your life in that final 10 to 15 seconds, because if you die in that situation, you're going to spawn all the way across the map. That's what New York were able to do yesterday, break their setups down. But OpTic so far, they're looking like they're coming out swinging, man. 27 seconds already off P1. They don't have the spawns, but they have a lot of pressure already through Shandy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. No spawns, but they've got the pressure indeed. Who trying to get involved, looks to get involved in the fight. However, he eventually does hit the deck. Now it could be on to Dashy. We've talked about the pressure that's on his shoulders, trying to adjust now with Dan Ghosty in the lineup, trying to hit some snaps. Basically goes for the crossover, sets up Ghosty for the 1v1, but it is still a battle in the point. Everybody is being thrown at this point right now, Jay.
Oh, and OpTic, they're at least able to find a couple kills and now flip those spawns for Atlanta FaZe. So now ATL, they got to cut their losses. You got to get over towards Kitchen. This is going to be a huge one-on-one battle between Ghosty and Sim. Ghosty's going to be here first. He wins that first one, but there's 2 more players here for Atlanta trying to go for that trade.
Yep, Atlanta currently with the numbers. We'll see. This is an opportunity for them. However, Shotzi ends up hitting a nice long-range fight. Eventually does get traded out, so the numbers still somewhat low for OpTic as they look to make the rotation now toward Kitchen. Can they lock this one down? A nice gunfight victory there for Bruce as he's able to take away 2.
Oh, that's big kills right there from Dashy. He finds those 2 kills. Atlanta FaZe thought that they had the numbers in that break situation. But eventually, OpTic hold the line. The setup is too strong as they are finding all the kills in the feed. They're not making any mistakes, man. They're not giving up their lives for free. Everyone's playing their corners. No one's trying to overextend to find some kills. So far, this has been a stellar hard point from OpTic.
Yeah, this is a scary start, man. I mean, we're already talking about the importance, the value of that opening hard point. You and I had the first opportunity of this OpTic Texas team versus LAG, where they pretty much came out nearly 100-point clubbed the Gorillas in that series. A bit of a similar start. However, Atlanta FaZe, they get the break for the final 25 seconds just to make that scoreline look a little bit easier, or a little bit better, rather. But I don't know, Jay, for Atlanta FaZe, this is obviously the focus for them. We're talking about OpTic Texas in a multitude of ways, but on the other side of the stage for FaZe, pressure for them oftentimes has been questioned around how are the hardpoints going to play. It's the mode that arguably they've been the weakest on this season.
Oh yeah, without question, man, because if you think about their stats for every single game mode, hardpoint is the only one that they're currently sitting negative. They are the best team in search and destroy. They're around middle of the pack when it comes to control, but hardpoint is where they definitely need to step on up, because OpTic Texas, they're starting to run away with this, man. Fully set up, they're in control of the spawns. They're finding the kill when it's needed, but that's going to be all 4 dead in the feed. Final 30 seconds, Atlanta FaZe get the break, but they're not getting any time. OpTic's still putting a lot of pressure on this hill.
We've talked about it a lot lately. Obviously, we had the cast yesterday and them versus New York. It feels like the strategy, the game plan is to try to play around the SMGs, at least maybe try and get that pace, get that aggression up. As so far through our first few hard points, it's really been OpTic Texas, as you said, buddy, kind of overwhelming the likes of Atlanta FaZe. And so far, it feels like at every single hard point, it almost feels like a 6v4 based off the way that they have been able to circumnavigate the map. But as we prepare for restaurant, a dicey one indeed when it comes down to hotel. It is OpTic there first. Atlanta, their first look at trying to break it. And we look through the eyes of Abizi. A very good perspective to see. However, he's not able to clean up on the second. And from there, the pressure goes on to MC. But boy, does he love being in spots like this. It could be an early break from Atlanta now.
Oh, Atlanta figures they have more bodies. All they have to do is win a couple gunfights. Last play you got to focus on is shots. He at least takes down 2. Dashy finds the 3rd, so you have to slow it down now. If you are Slasher, he's the last player here. He gets taken down. We know how scrappy the Dino Hill can be. It's all about the back and forth. As the trades are bound, but if you are Atlanta FaZe, at least you're setting yourself up properly. Going over towards that Platte Hill. It's going to be selling him nice and early off their rotation. Huge one-on-one going up against Shotzi across the map.
Yep. We'll see if he's able to take it. Celium on the stairs. Ends up getting spotted. That's going to be 3 Celium. I'm not sure if he was aware of what he was balancing on when it came down to the rail. Regardless of it, Shotzi wins that one. And from there, OpTic Texas once more put in the better position. They've also cleared them out of the restaurant, so they know where the next line of attack is about to come from. And it is a bunch of cutoff kills coming as well, Jay. This lead looks to get extended, especially if Shotzi's able to clean up a few. However, Atlanta, they run straight through the front door and they make that objective theirs.
Yeah, they push right through the front door. Even with Shotzi winning that huge one-on-one gunfight versus him towards Kitchen, he cancels that spawn, but the rest of the Atlanta players just push right on through the front, able to hit a couple attacks and are able to find that break. Now with Atlanta only being down 40 points, selling with some great shots to eliminate Shotzi from that back position, finds a snap on towards Dashy. So the final 15 is potentially going to go in favor of Atlanta. They sort of got themselves right back into this game. You just got to start winning some rotation, because that's 5 out of 6 hills that OpTic Texas on his first rotation of hard points. They were able to win it, so they start off with the initial time, and that's why they currently have the lead.
They do indeed. It is a welcoming sight to see OpTic Texas playing as well as they have off the first set of rotations, though, Jay. As we said, the opening hard point is everything. Considering that you're facing off against the best S&D team, basically in CDL history, based off of record, you got to come through, walk away with the opening hard point. And they were able to win this Hotel HP last time that these rosters faced off. However, last time it was in game 4. Dashy dropped the 40 bomb, but right now it seems to be a collective effort across the board. How about the new addition and Dan Ghosty, 17 and 13, about to have a minute and a half inside of the hill, doing everything right now for the squad. FaZe struggling just to even see P1 right now.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You usually don't allow a lot of time to go towards either squad when you're talking about the P1s in hardpoint in Modern Warfare 2. But OpTic Texas, with a great setup there, able to get basically a full 60 and blow this game wide open. Now it's Atlanta FaZe. They won the rotation towards P2 the first go around, but they just could not get the proper setup to hold it properly. OpTic Texas coming out swinging, full collective team unit, almost up by 100 points. They're not messing around today.
No, they're not at all. However, as we head toward the lobby, the lifeline potentially for the Atlanta FaZe. Abizi making some sneak plays off of the last spawn that he had. Waits to hop inside of P1 to initiate that flank. And from there, Atlanta, a solid wave cleared here off the rip. But still 40 points to fight for. As we said, ones that could change the tide of this game. It is 2 to start from the new addition in Dan Ghosty. However, from there, Atlanta trying to rebound. But you've got players everywhere. It just feels like for OpTic, they continue to swarm over at that objective, just trying to contest, trying to be annoying. As we conclude things over at this lobby side, Atlanta will walk away with the scrap, and now we head toward the kitchen. Let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding in a big spot right now with OpTic Texas.
Take it down.
Hurry. Pull, two hitting through 3 side doors.
Side door, guys.
Oh, 2 side.
One more.
I think they're both there.
One
One
to the back.
One off hold.
One's gonna be front though. One's gonna be front. We're spawning out.
Two front, one back.
Back door, watch out.
I have your side door now. I have side door.
They give me
I'm
time.
pitching back door. No, dude, top bed. He's alone on time. Just freezer.
All you guys spawn out front. He's going freezer. One's going freezer. I wanna go to the back. I'm gonna put together.
Just keep finessing it.
Two on time. Yeah, I'm gonna go freezer.
TV dead.
Side there. Front side.
I stunned him in time.
Coming out. Which side? I gotta break this shit. One more side.
Yo, I'm coming. Give me a sec.
He's just
He's staking.
I got you. Yo,
One shot time, MC. There's two. Both one shot. They're both one shot. Go fast.
One gets TP.
They're both one shot. Go fast.
Yeah, I'm watching.
One is new. It's fucking Abizi. He might be bottom bed or something. Or info. Yeah, 2 on new. Got one.
Nice.
One more main. One shot.
I'm
Could be bottom bed, by the way. Abe could be bottom bed.
Yeah.
Main,
That's him.
All right, these boys are firing. Jay, like I said, the last time that you and I casted over OpTic on Hotel Hardpoint, it sounded exactly like this when they were taking it to the Gorillas. And right now in the opener, you hear that same level of communication again. The boys are yelling. They are screaming after every single kill that they get. Dashy going on a run. Shotzzy as well. His opportunity for 5 ends up coming to a halt, but they can be happy with the lead that they have, but they still have to be careful. 30 points gets Atlanta right back in this.
Yeah, 30 points gets Atlanta right back into this. But back to the comms, man. You can hear everybody roaring. OpTic knows what they are playing for. A winner's bracket spot at their own major. You don't want to start off on losers. And you saw that 3-piece from Dashy towards Kitchen. Batman came to play today. Already sitting at 25 and 20. Final 15 seconds is going to go in favor of OpTic Texas. Closer and closer to that 250-point mark. But now off the rotation. Atlanta FaZe are going to have more bodies, so they're going to be able to set up properly around this diner hill. OpTic, you just got to take your time, wait for the trades to come in, set up the perfect play.
And that could have been it. Sim ends up finding the trade, also stays alive. It's going to allow for Dashy to now have to go and hunt for information. However, he's found himself pretty easily inside of the restaurant, a decent spot at that. Right now for Atlanta, it's just a matter of trying to find these trades as Shotzzy comes away with 2. Ghosty finds the 3rd, and from there, it is another break now for OpTic Texas. They've got Restaurant without a doubt held down, but the streak comes in from the top. And BZ able to utilize that for the break. Atlanta still hanging on.
I don't know if you feel Atlanta, but this feels like the same exact scenario that we saw OpTic Texas play when they played against Atlanta FaZe the last time around. It was 250 to 248. The pinch comes in from Abizi, so you're able to get this final 10, but it's all about these gunfights over towards next. There's 2 players from OpTic Texas who spawn across the map, so it's the last 2 guys that have to go big. Hook at least gets 1. Now it's all left up to Dashy. He drops. Atlanta FaZe, they win that rotation. They should be able to set up.
And this is huge. This next gunfight very well could decide the game, especially if Atlanta is able to get set up firmly inside of the hill. Celium has got some trophies. You see Slasher setting up the crossfire on the backside of the map. Hook gets dealt with, and watch that score line begin to fly. Abizi now sitting on 6 as we run into a stalemate. Dashy locking down the objective, but it's Abizi who's able to come away with 1. It's a 1v1 now inside of the point. Atlanta holding on as that nade will land. Atlanta are about to tie the game.
And they can't win here. Atlanta cannot win here. They have to try to chain it towards P1, which has been the hill that OpTic Texas have found a lot of success. But ATL, they're finding all the kills in the feed. OpTic Texas pointing out towards Bevram. They're still trying to put pressure on. Only 5 seconds left towards top plat. Tie game. This is going to be a photo finish.
This is indeed. It's a 4-point game as we fly in for P1. Is this about to be the comeback here for Atlanta FaZe? Surely for OpTic Texas, you cannot squander an opportunity, a chance like this, as here comes the streak. It's 2 for 1 trade in favor of Atlanta. However, Dashy, Shotzzy able to come away with the few. OpTic now inside of the point. Abizi ends up getting found out. It's a 1v1. Dashy's able to take it. Back and forth we go. Who can walk away with the opening hard point? It's going to be free time. Who's going to jump in? It could be Hook's chance. It could be Hook's chance. And there you go. OpTic Texas with the wildest ending of a hard point that we have seen in a while. Mimicking perfectly the last time we saw these 2 teams match up. Last time it was a 2-point game. This time it's a 3-point game. And in both occasions, it is OpTic winning the hard point. And boy, did they need that opener, Jay. Good God.
Oh my God, Lando. What a photo finish to that map number 1. OpTic Texas kind of scrambled when you got over towards that plat hill, but they did a great job of just contesting from the front, not allowing Atlanta FaZe to win off of that plat hill. They forced it to the P1, where they have had success all map long on soaking a bunch of that time. I think OpTic Texas did a great job of just not all dying at the same time. It was Dashy who was staying alive in towards Double Arch. He finds 2. Abizi found 2. The Atlanta FaZe were getting the close spawns in towards Kitchen. Everyone was flying around. But once OpTic were able to find 3 kills, they get on the point. They know where the spawns are coming in. and they eventually close out what was one of the best harpers we've seen all year, and definitely a needed one at that for OpTic Texas. Now up 1-0 in the series.
Oh my God, we got to take a look at our scuff play of the game, which is just instantly going to be the end of that hard point. I mean, Jay, we can talk about it. OpTic, they were up. Like, it felt like they were about to close out the game. Atlanta FaZe, they stay alive. Walk us through the ending moments, because I'll tell you what, man, I enjoyed commentating that, but it was just absolute chaos the entire time.
Absolute chaos, brother. This is what it comes down to. Abizi uses that streak. Cellium picks up a kill onto Gorsi towards couches. But then they find 2 kills. So you're thinking Atlanta FaZe are going to have the numbers to put themselves in that position. But the close spawns for OpTic Texas towards Diner, they come in. OpTic are able to find a couple kills. Abizi finds 2. But you see those spawns for Atlanta FaZe, they're still towards Kitchen. This is where it falls into Dashy. He stays alive in towards double arches. When he finds 2 kills, sets up that kill for Shotzi, and he's still holding down this position. That's the biggest thing. If Dashy dies here, it's a more difficult play that he has to win. He doesn't drop. He goes on that 4 spree. He allows the openings for OpTic Texas to get on that point to eventually close out the game. Atlanta FaZe almost had one of the most insane comebacks we've ever seen, but OpTic Texas, they ice up at the end, and they take map 1.
That's all it takes, right? That is all that it takes. A 3-point hard point game, nearly a collapsing comeback from Atlanta, and a 41 bomb out of Abizi for the L. 41 and 28. That was not good enough.
20 assists
to get it
20
done.
assists out of Ghosty. Look at that.
All right.
Hill
like
time.
John Stockton out here, Jay. Magic
Yeah, Hill
Johnson
time.
numbers.
That guy's hill time, putting bullets down. Like, he was doing everything that OpTic needed him to do in that map number 1. And with him putting up those numbers, even though he ends up negative, just soaking up that hill time, putting down bullets to set up your teammates to pick up the easier kills. What a performance from the rookie right there.
Jay, I refuse to believe that man went negative after 20 assists. Like, come on. That guy was having a field day out there in terms of helping out the squad mates. But tell you what, man. All right, I feel like we kind of got thrown into the series just like that, but take a look at our maps and modes. OpTic up 1-0, a spot where you and I, right, we have a lot of chats coming into the series. We're discussing it, we're talking about it. A must-win for OpTic Texas for a multitude of different reasons, but the biggest one is because of Atlanta FaZe. They currently find themselves on a CDL record 11 search destroy winning streak. Wild. The reasoning for that obviously is because we've got that Ella Silo search destroy up next. Goodness, man. When we talk about the records for both these teams, though, I will say OpTic does like this one as well.
Yeah, they do. They're sitting at 3-0 going up against Atlanta FaZe, who have a 10-2 record. A lot more reps for the Atlanta boys. But if you are OpTic Texas, the last couple of times you have played this, it's always that one guy that usually just takes over. The very first time they played it, it was Dashy going 13-4. The second time they played it, it was Hook going 14-1 with a 14 KD to take over that game to win it 6-1. And then the last time they recently just played it versus Minnesota, it was a full team collective effort. Everyone stepped up. They dominated in a 6-1 fashion.
Oh, God.
And if they can do that again, take down Atlanta FaZe. When you talk about search and destroy, these are 2 guys that can definitely do it for their respective squads.
Yeah, absolutely. We're taking a look at the Major III qualifier numbers from both of those superstar SMGs. Abizi, we saw the KD there. We see the records now on our screen for Atlanta FaZe. The reasoning for why that opening hardpoint was so crucial for OpTic is because they're going to have to end, as we said, a CDL record winning streak. Can Atlanta FaZe keep it going? Moving into the Texas Major, it is possible. Can they make it 12, or could it be the shocker of a lifetime? Texas maybe winning the search. We will see. We jump into round 1. Atlanta FaZe kicking things off on the attacking side. It will be Sip with an objective on his back, and he'll look to get that one down nice and early.
Oh, yeah, because there's no trophy systems to work with, so you know no OpTic players are going to be in towards the site. Cellium starts it off. Abizi finds a second, so already in the 3v2 situation. Dashy and Ghosty have a lot to try to make up. Dashy's going to get spotted, but still a lot he has to try to win, and big gunfight makes it a 2v2.
The big gunfight victory there for Bruce. However, Slasher able to bring it not to a 2v1. It's going to have to all be on to Dashy. Can he walk away with the final 3 kills? He's got 15 seconds to work with. He's got Abizi in his sights, but it will be Abizi who's able to take that fight. Atlanta FaZe, Jay, all about aggression in round 1. Get the bomb down, chow out. Cellium loses a big gunfight there versus Dashy, but thankfully for him, he's got Abizi to back him up.
Yeah, that's just a perfect play call right there from Atlanta FaZe. They know that early into this map, especially in round number 1, there's no trophy systems to work with. So you use your tax to open up that site. No one's in there. You get the bomb down. You play the 4v4 retake. And both of these guys are stellar. On some LSELO search and destroy at getting the first blood. That time around, it was Celium to start it off. Eventually leads to Atlanta FaZe taking the first round.
We'll see how OpTic Texas attempts to reply. It's Hook and Dashi, the only ones finding kills in that opener. Abizi, well, we talked about it. First Blood King and showing the reason why he firmly holds on to that title. No sign of losing that crown anytime soon. Answers for the first. Shotzi out of the fight. And from there, OpTic Texas have to stall the push.
So now in the 3v4 situation, Hook's at least able to even the numbers, making it 3v3 by taking down Abizi. So you have a lot of time to work with. Do they decide to wrap this bomb over towards B? That might be the play cause. Dead Silence is invested from Hook.
This is free.
To be able to get this bomb plant down for free. Now it's going to force Atlanta FaZe to retake in a 3v3 situation.
Love that call. See how it works out. We talk so often about with bomb down on attack. A few opportunities squandered yesterday versus New York. Can they right the ship this time? Now versus Atlanta. Ghosty making things that much easier. He's got the sound cues on Slasher. Easy gunfight there for the Rook. As now it is all on to Simp. 1v3, 25 seconds to go, and he will get cleaned up. Ghosty going big at the end.
That's just good work right there from OpTic. Even after getting first blooded, Hook finds that kill onto Abizi, and then no hesitation on the rotation towards B-bomb. You get that bomb down. You have Ghosty, who's playing that solo island player, catches the last 3 players from Atlanta FaZe off that rotation, and is able to close out the round with 3 kills. OpTic tied up at 1 now.
And like we said yesterday, I mean, so many opportunities that were squandered on the Fortress S&D versus New York. They had the bomb down. It was a 97 win percent that they allowed to go the opposite direction twice. That time, as we said, righting the wrongs. The series from yesterday. It's aggression to start off this round, but it's 2 OpTic Texas players who are ultimately traded. And the N for 1 of Atlanta FaZe, they're only adding on it that much more. Shotzi once more out of the fight. Ghosty, who was the superstar to kick off, rather to end out that round number 2, now has got to do it all in round 3. 1v3 to boot. Thankfully, he does have the weapon of choice, being Slasher to start.
Oh, big kill to take down Slasher. Now you are getting a couple sound cues to where a location of another enemy is. The time is starting to tick. Sip just wants to stay alive, and that's good work to at least play your life in that situation. 20 seconds left. Ghosty at least has to find one to try to hop this bomb.
How about the snap? They're on to Celium. The positive, though, for Atlanta is not only do you had 2 players alive, but you had 3. Simp can just play the time. Good looks there out of Ghosty. I'll tell you what, man, I think I want to see the Vaznev in his hands more often.
Hey, he's got the snap, man. Basically the flex player for this team. If you're going to whip out a 3rd SMG, I'd definitely rather have Ghosty with it than Dashy, because we know what kind of AR presence Dashy does bring to the roster. You don't want that guy to switch weapons whenever he gets that opportunity. But Atlanta FaZe find another first blood. That's so far 3 on the map. They take full control of bottom mid. They get the bomb down. And they play the clock beautifully to close out the round. Now up 2-1.
And a touch on it, Jay. I mean, what do you think has been the biggest method of success for Atlanta FaZe, right? Why is this particular team on this winning streak right now?
The reason why is because their SMGs have no hesitation when it comes to their plays. And then when your ARs are left in clutch situations, Celium is going to hold down the power position. Slasher's going to wait for his Dead Silence to hit that pinch. They just have a great coordination on team plays when you talk about S&D.
Speaking of coordination, take a look at player number 8, Slasher. Finding himself on the flank. Normally, as you said, it's the SMGs hitting the routes. This time, it is Litigo. As you can see for Atlanta, making a bit of noise. Shotzi, however, he will answer with aggression. Hook ends up finding one onto Simp, and so Slasher, he's trying to get here, but his SMGs have fallen, so the pinch basically is no longer one. Still, can he find one? No, not gonna happen. Hook, the fast reactions there on the Slasher, as we said, was waiting for the longest time to come away with the pinch. However, his SMGs will fall. Hook is styling, and OpTic answer back end 2-2.
So far, all attacking rounds. This time, OpTic Texas were able to start off the engagement and find that first blood. With Shotzi working his way up the middle of the map to take down Abizi. big player to take down because a BZ can cause you some problems. So Shotzi takes care of him. Sip tries to go for the trade. Hook finds the second. And eventually they close out the round by finding a final couple of kills. OpTic Texas tie it up at 2. Like I said, it's been all attacking so far.
About to start from Hook again, man. 6 and 2. He's got those new settings. He's feeling great. Funniest thing, man, is that he's number 2 and number 3 in KD this season on LSC Search and Destroy. And his stint with LAG and so far with OpTic Texas above a 2 on both of those lineups. Obviously, LSC Search Destroy. It has just fit his playstyle so well. A crack of the whip as we see Dashy pull up the sniper for the first time. Able to find one onto a BZ. However, after that, it's been all Atlanta. Shotzi eventually makes his presence felt as he goes for the quick flank. Bomb is going to be down, and Shotzi did not spot Slasher.
Oh, I don't think Slasher spotted him either, so Shotzi still has that dead silence. He can potentially work on a deep flank, and the timing might work out perfectly. You got to get this kill before Slasher's going to get the Qs, but he's going to be able to find it. Makes it a 1v1, can't win it. Oh.
It was a square up at the end. I thought for a moment, Jay, like we saw Shotzi in that first little angle. Didn't see Slasher, just catches the corner of him. And I love a fight like this. You got both players in the same spot on the opposite sides of the map. Simp versus Shotzi. And it is Simp who is able to take it, and just that little gunfight now has elevated Atlanta FaZe to a round in response. It has just been round after round. It's Atlanta, OpTic, and now Atlanta again, up 3 rounds to 2. Sip sitting on the 3 spree. We'll see if he can increase that and maybe start to threaten for a few streaks.
Yeah, Sip's just trying to be the guy. Just give the information to his team of how they're going to try to bleed on this play. Last round, it was Slasher to go on a deep flank. This time, it's a BZ. He finds that first one onto Dashy. Now they can set up the vice grip, put them in the trap, but at least Ghosty's able to take down Sip 3v3 now.
You can see what Atlanta is trying to do. With that flank, they're just trying to keep them all inside of roughly the same position. And we know with Duril yesterday, you can absolutely shoot through some of these walls, the couch included. Celium looking to try to find that angle. Time continues to tick away. Ghosty's at least able to answer for one. Celium gets involved in the fight now. It is all down to Shotzi. Position, no, but he gets out of dodge. And with that, he can play with the objective, as that is going to be all he has to rely on. One player is going to be on the defuse. He has to make a run, but Slasher is on it. Can Shotzi get here in time? Goes for the Dolphin.
Oh!
No, he does not. So close. Finds both kills, but Atlanta FaZe laughing their way to a defuse. Jay, that was just milliseconds away.
Shotzi almost just made the play, Lando. He almost made the play because Atlanta FaZe, they knew that the bomb was planted for stretch. Yeah, that small moment. That small moment going through side doors eventually what cost him. Wonder if he does decide to go for that dive, able to put his gun up a little bit quicker. He's able to take him down, but Atlanta FaZe, no hesitation on the defuse, able to take the first defensive round. Now go up 4-2.
Shotzi a little frustrated quickly. Gets into that gunfight versus Slasher, says, we'll make this one count. But as we know, so far, this feels like every time a team has got a first blood, it has been quickly traded. And right now for FaZe, they do have quite a bit of arrows established to make that bomb rotation into that B site. One player is here. One man is here, and that is going to be Dashy. You see BZ hasn't yet spotted him, however, isn't able to come away with anything despite having a very valuable position, so he gets taken down. And now it's on to the SMGs of OpTic Texas to make the retake.
Oh, but Hoog at least finds it. That first kill with the nade. They get the information that both players in towards the site. This is an SMG battle. Shotzi makes it a 1v1.
1v1, and it's going to be Hoop this time, who's able to come out on top. It has been an SMG square up in so many of these rounds. Just a few ago, it was Simp versus Shotzi. This time, it is Hook who's able to come away with the swing round for the team, as they are able to make it now 4 rounds to 3. OpTic staying in it.
That's a very, very big round right there from OpTic Texas. I thought once Dashy puts himself in that position towards back rocks, if he just simply does not shoot off the first play that he spots, he has the potential to make the play happen and pick up all 3 kills. But once he gets taken down, it was all on Hook finding that first kill onto Celium, making it a 2v2, and then trapping the last 2 players from Atlanta FaZe in towards the site. Played it patient, worked out perfectly. OpTic take the round, now down 4-3.
Take a look at the BZ. Hitting the routes again. Shotzi aware enough. He goes for the dolphin dive, but it does not matter. Abizi, as we said, it's come down to so many 1v1 fights. Abizi escapes with 1 HP as Simp will do damage on the other side of the map. Shotzi and Hook are nullified, but Dashi at least able to make that man count look a little bit better. Bomb is down 2v3.
2v3. Slasher pops that dead silence to work this deep flank. You get the information onto Dashi. You're able to pick up that kill. Simp is already on the bomb. Ghosty not gonna check it. And Atlanta FaZe are able to take that round. Now puts them at game point. But you got to think about how that round started, man. That first one was so crucial from Abizi, taking down Shotzi with all the information he was able to pick up on. He knows that there was only one player in towards the site. They find that trade. They instantly hop the bomb. Ghosty has nothing to work with. Atlanta FaZe put themselves now at game point.
Yeah, I mean, not only, if Shotzi's able to win that fight, as we said, Abizi escapes with 1 health. If Shotzi wins that fight, not only does he take down the first one in Abizi, but he also gets information that Slasher is making that flank. He at least slows down progress from half of Atlanta FaZe in that round. But as we said, so many little fights that have equaled out to the scoreline that we see for the moment. 5 rounds to 3 in favor of Atlanta FaZe. Can Dashi Sniper be the difference? As Celium able to take him down. Dashi has got the long-range weapon, and he wasn't even able to see MC. Hook 1v4. Can he pull off something crazy and keep this game going? White flag, by no means out. Gets a bit of info, but the same thing can be said for Atlanta. Celium on the desk gets taken down. 2 more to go.
Now it's a 1v2, and you have dead silence to work with, so Hook is definitely in a position to make this clutch happen. He's just gonna go for the chow. He finds the first, can't snap onto the second. Abizi able to close out the search and destroy for Atlanta FaZe. Hook almost made that possible though, man. He almost got it done. But Atlanta FaZe close out the search, and they extend that S&D win streak to 12 now.
Good God. Atlanta FaZe come away with the dub. I'll tell you what, man, that was wild. I know that, obviously you could critique the way that he challenges in that 1v2, but it's just Hook's play style, man. Just to go for the chow, it is absurd. He brings it into a 1v1 at the end, puts up 11 kills, but it's not enough. As you said, Atlanta FaZe coming away with another search and destroy win. As this one, I don't know if it's gone the way that we necessarily expected. I mean, the questions were obviously on OpTic in terms of if they could win the hard point, but you just knew coming into this series, it feels like versus, really when it comes down to Atlanta FaZe, there is nobody that can test this team right now in search and destroy. And that does make you concerned a bit. If your OpTic now puts that much more pressure on the respawns, we talk about, maybe a future game 5, all of the things that play a factor into it. As we said, Jay, OpTic Texas just try to make winners bracket.
Yeah, OpTic Texas is trying to do whatever they can to not start and losers at their own major. That search and destroy was all about the first bloods. Atlanta FaZe got 6. They lead to 6 Ws. That's eventually what was the causing of the game. Tied up at 1. Now we got to control, man. Well, it's going to be a banger, man.
It is indeed. This series has been fun. It's been spicy up to this point as both teams battling it out. Atlanta FaZe trying to improve the record. And as we said, OpTic Texas trying to make winners bracket at their own major. When we come back after the break, we are headed to Hotel Control. Stay with us.
Messing around today.
That's not it. That's Crim 7.
Crim 7. There we go.
What are you doing?
New York got a 6-man on the roster as they take the main stage. The storyline is here and the run continues. NY versus Florida. Yo, Ali, I can't wait.
Make some noise for Polex, Hydra, Kismet, and Crim 7. 6 to the stage! Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise!
The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck. Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Howdy, friends, and welcome back to OpTic Texas versus Atlanta FaZe. Lando and Study on the call for what has already been a very, very fun series up to this point. It was a crazy hard point that led into Atlanta FaZe extending their S&D winning streak now to 12 games in a row. Already had the record and now trying to flex it that much more. But on the flip side, now for OpTic Texas, Jay, as we jump in for this hotel control, talk to me about this team, the history with this lineup when it comes down to this map and mode specifically.
Oh, this map and mode specifically was a battle the last time both of these squads did match up. You think about a map like Hotel Control, it's usually all about the attacking rounds.
Yeah.
That's where you find a lot of success. If you can sneak out of defense, that's even better. But the last time these guys matched up, all 5 rounds were won on the attacking side, and it was OpTic Texas able to win 3 of those to eventually close out the map. They haven't really had a lot of success in Control when it comes to like winning attacking rounds, but they got it done last time. They needed to do it again.
That's exactly right, my friend. That's like we said, hotel control, another square up between these two teams. But now on the likes for Atlanta FaZe, a roster that obviously likes themselves some hotel control, a 9-5 record. But doing the prep for this series, Jay, one thing stuck out to me. Atlanta FaZe on the season, they have got 7 losses overall. The common denominator for every single loss so far this season, a control loss. So this is your opportunity. This is their kryptonite. If you can come away, much like you did last time, with a hotel control victory, this is the method. This is the way that every team has been able to do it so far versus FaZe. Can OpTic Texas replicate their success from last time? Or can Atlanta FaZe right the wrongs? We will see as we jump in here for game number 3, the swing mode indeed. It is OpTic Texas starting things off on attack as they've got their sights set at that B zone off the rip.
And that's a beautiful break off right there from OpTic, because they sent 2 players through mid, 2 players through bedroom. They find that first kill and already completed that first swing and over towards B. They only have 2 players on the point, so it's not going to go as fast. But they're finding all the kills. Atlanta FaZe only have 1 player left in this position. It's going to be a BZ. He has to try to go big with attack in hand. He finds 1. The trade is not there. And that's going to be already done and dusted. B point out the way. OpTic doing exactly what they need to do already on the attacking side.
Well, okay. I was going to say, if BZ's flanking, he's called out to his teammates. Guys, I'm on the flank. They're like, yeah, you're the only one. He's like, wait, what? What just happened? Absurd stuff from OpTic off the rip as they make that B zone theirs in nearly record time. And now, I'm going to tell you what, man, we've seen some crazy comebacks happen, or rather crazy holds happen from the defensive sides, but we know it, right? And once you're in that A zone, you start to get a few bodies, you get those close spawns. It is definitely not going to be an easy next minute and 40 seconds for FaZe.
Definitely not. Just have to make sure you're slaying, holding down that kitchen control. And players that are watching the pinch, just play your life as long as you can, because you know the pressure is going to come in from the back end. And Shotzi's working his way all the way through the backside of Jules. He's trying to spot Slasher with a great angle, trying to go for the nade. Not going to be able to connect, but he does get that information. This can potentially cause Slasher some problems, but he shuts down both players. Both players get shut down towards the flank, and that's already the first push shut down on the side of OpTic.
Oh my God. Shout out to the Observer team for that one. Slasher continuing to be a menace. You can see what that one gunfight does. Slasher was on a sliver of HP. He stays alive, and from there, he begins to roll. Now on 4 in a row, eventually checked. But that moment right there stalled so much time from OpTic Texas. Now 45 seconds to work with. It's a 2-man army looking to make the flank at the same time. Simp behind enemy lines, looking to cause some chaos himself. FaZe up big in terms of the lives. However, for OpTic, their first opportunity to put a body, to put some feet inside of that objective, but it's quickly answered with another Slasher kill.
Yeah, this is a big situation. If OpTic can find a couple kills, Dashy and Shotzi combined for 2, but you still have to worry about a BZ who's maintaining kitchen control. Only 20 seconds left on the round, 15-9 and lives remaining. OpTic have 1 more good push. It all starts with this gunfight. A BZ's able to win it. And at least the trade is there. Now OpTic have full control of kitchen. Ghosty flies through connector. They can stack this point.
They absolutely can. Sippy goes for the dolphin dive. Any kill would be huge. He eventually drops, but it's a team kill. It is a team kill, so that zone will not move as fast. Will that be enough? Can they get OpTic Texas over the finish line, or can Atlanta make a dent? Slasher goes for the dive, and it will be a round 1 victory for OpTic. Goodness sake, Jay, it felt like they could not jump in. They finally get their window of opportunity, and they seize it. Wild, wild stuff again.
It all started with that kitchen control. Hook finds himself on the backside of kitchen. He's able to take down both players. Now at that point, you're giving OpTic the opportunity to just sprint right on forward to get on towards the point. But it's not only Hook's 2 kills, it's Ghosty flying through connector, winning that huge one-on-one, which relieves all the pressure on the side of Atlanta FaZe. They spawn all the way across the map. You get that kill, you stack the point, you close it out. OpTic able to close it out in the final 10 seconds to take the very first round.
History repeating itself already, Jay. OpTic
already.
We said they had those 3 attacking victories. It was 5 for 5 in attacks when these last 2 teams matched up in the Major II Qualifiers. And as we said, history on history. Atlanta FaZe trying to do the exact same. Did we see 7 straight attacking round wins between these 2 rosters here in Hotel Control? It's already off to a great start here for FaZe as they walk away with a few final kills. Celium is going to be contested, so he drops. Big 1v1 win for Shotzzy. You can see how close Atlanta was to wiping away that point. And given their spawns, they'll now focus their attention at A and really just try to stop that clock.
Yeah, you already got 2 segments over towards that B point. So now let's get A out of the way, but you have to find a couple kills. Hook and Dashy combined for 2. There's now only 2 players left in towards the diner. They're just trying to contest it. Hook with the snakes, able to line up the first with the tack, relieve that pressure, force Abizi to get off the point. They take care of him. But while they were putting a lot of pressure over towards A, the last 2 players from Atlanta FaZe are able to close out towards B. So now extending time by a minute, OpTic have to hold the defensive strong at A for 2 minutes now.
They do indeed. Well, interesting situation that Ghosty finds himself in. I was going to say Slasher in the inverse spot from where he was last round. In such a pesky player on the defensive side, and now it is Ghosty who is here to hold down this angle with the tack. He's got 3 players to deal with. How can he handle it? Exactly how you'd like him to. Finds 2, gets the comms on the 3rd. Dan Ghosty locking the spawns up.
Oh, Dan Ghosty holding on the flank, and Hook still putting pressure in towards kitchen. But with that trade coming in, now there's only 2 players left on this side of the map for OpTic Texas. You are getting a close one, at least for 1 player in Hook. But these gunfights are going to be big. You have to win the trade battle. Hook and Dashy started off. Ghosty finds the 3rd. Now there's only 1 player left here. It's going to be Abizi. Abizi does take him down. But now it's all on to Shotzzy. With Shotzzy picking up that kills, the close spawn still coming in for OpTic. They're able to flood right back on it.
Guaranteed. Some interesting spawns for Atlanta. You did have player number 5 in Celium. Spawn close in kitchen. Meanwhile, the other 3 over toward parking. So it is going to establish another pinching opportunity here from FaZe, but it's Shotzzy and Hook almost at the exact same time win those gunfights. So that is 1 lane cleared to pinch. By no means is going to be established. Slasher, we'll see what he can do. Last time he was thwarted by Ghosty. This time it is by Dashy. 25 seconds to go. FaZe, can they finally get a break?
FaZe need a break. And they do the same exact thing that OpTic just did, but no, the pinch comes in for Shotzzy. Ties it perfectly with that dead silence. Takes down 2. Hook finds the 3rd. He finds the last player off, which is going to be Slasher. And now you see those spawns for Atlanta FaZe all the way across the map. This is going to be a defensive win for OpTic Texas to now put themselves in a commanding 2-0 lead, man.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. It does not get much better than this. Obviously, you're up 2-0. Even if we get to a round 5, I mean, you're up 6-3 currently in segments. You're about to add on to that coming into this next round. And they just outslayed heavy as well, Jay. I mean, we may not even see, obviously, a round number 5, but just the way that you've started off this game, you have already put yourself in the best situation possible, not just to close it out early, but in case we do happen to extend ourselves a little bit further. Goodness sake. OpTic have answered back so far in the control. So far, they have been absolutely deadly here in the respawns. And Shotzzy does fall off of that spree. We'll see if OpTic can close it out here, man. Can they just continue to win attacks versus FaZe?
And they're putting a lot of pressure over towards B as well. You do have one player in Simp going for the super long flank. Gonna flank his way all the way towards top bedroom. So he's gonna be able to at least take one player down. Great pitch comes in. He's able to eliminate both and shut down that early pressure over towards B, only allowing one segment. But now you gotta make your way all the way across the map. You know that the spawns for OpTic Texas are gonna be all towards kitchen. So what can aBeZy do in that position? He eventually gets dropped. So OpTic Texas are able to get on that point, stop that clock.
It's the biggest focus, obviously, as we've seen so far. It's about getting that objective captured quick, whether it be or whether at A hotel offers you a myriad of opportunities. OpTic Texas seizing that right now inside of the restaurant. A few close spawns, and then Slasher instantly takes down one. He eventually does get found out, and now here comes a bit of contest from Atlanta FaZe. They've got players coming in from multiple directions. The same thing can be said for Shotzzy, but as the dust settles, it's another big gunfight, one for Bruce. The only player nearby will basically guarantee that that objective will be captured. Extra minute added on to the clock, and all the weight now falling on Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, Atlanta FaZe now have to set up around that B point. Want to make sure you're maintaining over towards bedroom side. They only have one player in that position, which is going to be Slasher. He eventually does get sniffed out. So with Shotzzy picking up that kill, Dashy's now going to spawn towards back plat. You have to win these gunfights. If you are aBeZy, he gets snapped on by Ghosty, and now OpTic have the pressure. They can close it out right now.
Yeah, and they're getting those close spawns as well. You see player number 3 in Hook. He's going to try to go for the cutoff. You've got a great situation set up. That's going to be 2 ticks. One more to go before this game is already done. Shotzzy and Hook trying to clear the way. Oh, it's a 1v1. Simp at least able to delay for now and keep Atlanta FaZe's hopes alive. If that 1v1 goes differently, Jay, that could have been game right there.
Oh, yeah. If he wins that gunfight, the close spawn's coming for OpTic Texas, and then eventually the stack can come in. They would have been able to close out the game, but big gunfight from Simp. So now extend this game a little bit longer. Now OpTic is trying to set up the perfect play, trying to work their way all the way through the backside. They find it. They do find a couple kills. They know the position of Slasher. They can't take him down. They're trying to take care of him. They do a great job of doing so. And now this is where you have to gun up. You have to iron up. You have to play for these kills if you are Atlanta.
Oh, Dashy
no.
Escapes with 1 HP. OpTic Texas currently with numbers, and as we said, it is just one more segment. Are they about to lock this one up right now? Is it about to be a 3-0 in the control? And yes, it will be. Remaining flawless on attacks versus FaZe. And that is how you answer. That is how you reply. A shocker here in game number 3. The mode OpTic has been struggling on mightily. 2-6 in their last 8 coming into it. But versus Atlanta, they turn up a 3-0, 2 attacking wins, and now up 2-1 in this series.
OpTic just had the perfect game plan, man. They start off on the attacking side. They win their initial gunfights. They're able to take down B and then rotate over towards A in the final 10 seconds to take the very first attacking round. But then when it came down to the defensive side, a 2-minute hold over towards that A point is what eventually allows them to close out this game the way that they did, man. Every time, it was players holding down their position, knowing that they had to win huge one-on-ones. And then we take a look at the highlights, man. OpTic was just all over the map. They were putting a lot of pressure on every single angle that they needed to. When it came down to those crucial moments when they had to win the gunfights in certain positions, they did just that. To dominate this control the way they did, now puts them up 2-1 in the series.
Tell you what, man, they need to be playing more hotel control.
Without question, man. Without question.
They just have Atlanta FaZe's numbers. Jay, that is now on the season 5-0 on attacks in control versus FaZe. I mean, like we said, the records have not been great, but versus Atlanta, OpTic Texas just turns up, man. They just turn up. I know Ant or Nables was talking about it on the desk. The 77th career matchup between FaZe and OpTic, but in the CDL, whether it's been OpTic Texas, right, and Vanguard, and so far in this season, they hold a 6-1 record, trying to make it 7-1 en route to winner's bracket at their own major. And as we take a look, At our box score, Jay, what number sticks out the most to you?
Honestly, everyone's numbers. Everyone played well. Shotzi, I'm pretty sure at a point in the game was like 3 and 10. He ended that second round 10 and 11. So he only died one time in that whole scenario where he was popping that dead silence, working the flank. So just right now, OpTic Texas, they're looking like a complete team. They're not making little mistakes. Every time someone needs to hold down their position, they're not overextending. They're not over-challenging. They're playing great Call of Duty right now. As we take a look at our maps most presented by GMC Hummer. Very close hard point to start. S&D obviously is going to go in favor of the Atlanta FaZe because they have just been a terror in that mode. But then to win in a 3-0 versus Atlanta FaZe on their best control map, that's a statement, man. They have a lot to play for. They're trying to keep Vegas out of that 8th spot. They're trying to secure winners bracket at their own tournament. And so far, they are playing so damn well to make it happen for them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We talk about all the storylines. It's almost impossible to cover every single story coming into this matchup between OpTic and FaZe. But another underlying one, as you called it, partner, is that if OpTic Texas lose this series, Atlanta FaZe wins. That means that Las Vegas Legion, the Legion really just in general, for the first time in franchise history, will lock up a winner's bracket position moving into Major 3. Incredible stuff, as I'm sure Clay watching this, and he is biting his nails more than he ever has, looking at the fact that it's a 3-0 here in the control. And I don't know about you, man, but it just feels like it, right? At this moment, coming into this Mercado hardpoint, I know OpTic are coming off of a great 3-0 win in the control, but it feels like it has to be done here. I mean, Atlanta FaZe, looking so solid in Search Destroy. I know that you know it very, very well. That Mercado in Game 5 fits them so well. It feels like if OpTic Texas is going to win this series, it has to happen right now.
Yeah, it has to happen right now, in my opinion, because if you get to that Mercado S&D, Atlanta FaZe are the best team at that map, #1 in every single category. Where you're talking about the attacking, where you're talking about the defending, and even the first bloods. They have some crazy KDs as well on that Mercado S&D, but we got to get to some Mercado hardpoint first. This is a map that usually Atlanta FaZe do find themselves a lot of success. The only team that tends to take them down on this is 100% that LA Thieves roster. And the reason why it causes them problems is because LA Thieves, they win their rotations and they're able to set up properly and also find breaks. So if you are OpTic Texas, the best rotation team on this map, but they struggle in their breaks, you can't fall short. You have to make sure when you're rotating, you're putting yourself in the best possible setup you can with 30 to 25 seconds.
Yeah, we know. We've seen some very, very punishing hardpoint performances from Atlanta FaZe here on Mercado. They get going. We could very well be seeing a Game 5 faster than we think. But to kick off this hardpoint, so far it has been OpTic Texas with 22 uncontested points. Right now for Atlanta, they're looking to make their way up the right side of the map. Shotzi, realizing such, bends the back gun up, trying to play for P2. The Money Hill up next. However, he's got 2 more players left to go. Trying to hit the nice movement as the battles will look to begin. Atlanta in a 3 versus 4. What can they make happen? Shotzi over the top. Can he fight?
Oh!
Yes, he will. A big gunfight to win as Slasher drops. OpTic will hold on to Cantina.
And that's beautiful patience right there from Shotzi. To not get a little bit overzealous and go for that ego chow towards top flat. He waits for the pinch to come in, but eventually sets up the break for OpTic Texas to win that rotation over towards Cantinas. But now Atlanta FaZe are putting a lot of pressure over towards Hedge. All of OpTic know exactly where they're coming from. This has been a flawless start to this hard point as they are cutting them all down.
You can see it right now for Hook. He just picked up the tack. He says this thing works pretty well. Dashy on a beamer right now toward top Cantina. This is about to be a flawless start to this hard point. Quickly for Texas, 20 seconds to go. And Atlanta FaZe, understandably so, are just going to have to rotate. They just have to go for the rotation. And now you cannot afford to lose this. FaZe already, Jay, they need a reply and a big one at that.
Yeah, they need a full 60 hold right on towards the Tin Hill. They are getting a couple close spawns toward the backside of that alley. But it's all about the setup. And OpTic Texas is so far putting a lot of pressure on the map. You're going to see a BZ spawn all the way out towards Gas, but his teammates do a great job of finding all the kills in the feed. Able to shut down that first rush from OpTic Texas. As now they're going to be forced to push through back alley, push through dark, and Sip's ready for it.
Dip is ready. However, the trades are in. 40 seconds till the fight for it. BZ able to dolphin dive, stay alive, remain with this team that now will open up the opportunity for Slasher to walk away with a few kills. Texas's heads are turned, and Slasher strikes again, runs out of ammo, but surely it's Ghosty that's going to be traded, and yes, he will. Atlanta FaZe, they needed every single second, and they have got it. Very much so back in this game, but now the rotation, the headbutt that's about to go down in Barbershop. Who can come out on top in these opening fights? Slasher again trying to lead the way.
Slasher, and a little bit of help of Dashy is able to put them now in the trade advantage. So just gonna push their way right through back alley. You're gonna have one player in shots. He spawned all the way across the map. So he's trying to find the player that's coming off of Ode. But so far, OpTic, 3 stacked in towards the hill. Dashy with the tag 56, doing it up close and personal. Can't find the kill. Celium trades with 2, but OpTic still hold on. Close spawns here for Atlanta, though.
Oh my God, this is just wild. Hard point so far. Abizi eventually breaks in, but how about the fights that are won from both Dashy and Celium? Crazy gunfights in close quarters there with the tack, as FaZe getting some much needed seconds right now here in Barbershop. Abizi able to win that fight, and as the final 20 will come to a close, Atlanta FaZe will tie up the game.
Oh, it's great work from Atlanta to find that break over towards Barber, but now it's going to force OpTic Texas off that rotation. This is where you had 20 seconds to put yourself in the best setup, but look at the close spawn. It actually comes in for Slasher towards back 10. So do they read his positioning, as now Atlanta FaZe trying to break through the back end?
Oh, Shotzi is able to find him. I was getting ready to say, as you called it, man, Slasher in a very valuable spot. He ends up getting taken down, and now OpTic, they've got a full-on setup here. Celium eventually drops in the back. Thankfully, at least it's a nade to kick things off. However, trades on trades. Dashy able to clean up a bit of work in the backside, and from there, Texas, they've got this position. They are having a few players spawning out toward middle, so this is delaying Atlanta. It is also not allowing for OpTic Texas to have all that many numbers inside of the point, but they win their ones, and from there, Shotzi has got a streak. Now moving into Cantina once more. It's a great opportunity.
Oh, man.
Easy for free, and now they've got a close spawn. Shotzi and Dashy, they are here.
This is where OpTic can start to pull away with this game. You just have to win these gunfights to win this rotation over towards top Cantinas. It's now all of Atlanta FaZe putting pressure on through the back alley. But there's only 3 players here from OpTic, and every single player finds a kill. The last player in Slasher, he drops. And what a perfect chain from OpTic Texas from 10 towards Cantinas is now going to force Atlanta FaZe to try to execute a break on one of the money hills on Mercado Hardpoint. OpTic is just growing this lead more and more as time goes. Shotzi unfortunately does get turned on, and the break comes in for Atlanta.
And Jay, there's still 40 seconds. I mean, there's still 40 seconds for FaZe to have. I was getting ready to say that could be the hard point that pretty much ends out this series, and right on cue, FaZe able to stay alive. 20 seconds still left at Cantina, and Ghosty wants it. Right now for the Rook, they're trying to set up for new and be prepared for the parking lot, but FaZe able to make quick work of him. Still down in this game, but boy, does that lead look that much better, as they'll be down by 20 coming into this next hill. Can Texas hold once more, or is it going to be more chaos? I'm definitely assuming it is going to be the latter. Chaos indeed. Texas here early. Can FaZe make the break?
Yeah, Texas here early. It was good work out of Dashy and Ghosty to find those initial 2 kills when a teammate spawned all the way across the map. But it's Atlanta FaZe with pressure through every single angle, are able to find 3 kills. Last player up is going to be Shotzi. You take care of him, you're able to get on that time. And now with your teammates spawning over towards back alley, you know exactly where OpTic are coming from. It's all about these gunfights. 30 seconds remaining and towards the parking lot.
Yep, FaZe are aware. They know exactly where every angle of a player going to be coming from, and when you're trying to make your way through this side of the map, it is just so difficult. Such long lanes of sight. As Zook eventually does get involved in the fight, is there a beautiful way too? You will take that time, obviously, if you're Texas, but Atlanta did a good job off the start to at least not allow for that hard point to be a full 60 as we reset and fly back in now for the second side of rotations. 181 to 145. It's going to be a battle for the bottom side of the map once more, my friend.
Oh, yeah, that's what it all comes down to. Fighting for this green control. Not really soaking up a lot of this P1 time because you're thinking big picture. You want to get that better side for the next hill. And so far, OpTic are doing a great job of just slaying out to hold this positioning. Now they're able to get on towards P1. Shotzi just finessing around towards back alley, finds another kill. They're putting them in the trap right now. If you are Atlanta, you got to break out, and they do a great job. They find all 3 kills, and now the spawns are going to flip. This is the best case scenario right now for Atlanta.
Every time Atlanta FaZe is in a spot where they cannot allow for another kill to go the opposite direction, they end up finding that timing, and now they are the ones who are in the more preferred spot. OpTic Texas have reached 190, but for Atlanta, this hard point last time around is what got Texas such a massive lead, and now it could come back to bite them. FaZe flipped the map on its head, and now they've got a chance to bring this one back. Toward the back alley we go. Celium, turret-like, eventually drops. 2 players.
Oh my!
Texas. It's Dashy and Shotzi who are able to lead the way as they jump back in themselves, taking it effortlessly.
That's beautiful work from OpTic. Great coordination for everyone to attack through back alley. You win those trades, you find the opening, then you take down the last player on towards the point. They get the break on one of the money hills on Mercado hardpoint as Shotzi flies around, finds 2. And with only 25 seconds left, now you're going to force Atlanta FaZe. The 2 players that are here have to contest this, but everybody else has to rotate. And there's a couple players from OpTic trying to cause them problems already.
They are indeed. Ghosty, he could pretty much guarantee the game right here. As Hoot goes flying forward, he's now out of the fight, and that's going to halt Ghosty's progress. So FaZe able to stay alive. Scrap points awarded to OpTic Texas. What's the number going to be? 238 to 158. 1 break is all it takes, and it could be off of this streak, Jay.
Oh, and the streak is used for the information. He's trying to let your teammates know exactly where they're coming from, but there's no trophy. No trophy. Shotzi finds a kill. Who finds another? And last player on the point is a Beezy. He goes big. He finds 2. It's all on a Beezy. He's still staying alive. He finds all 4. Oh my God.
How in the world did a Beezy just stay alive? Shotzi threaded the needle, but a Beezy takes out the entire team. And with that, Texas a bit terrified, a bit dazed, realizing that that score did not improve based off of that hill. But still, 12 more points to go. Can Texas close it out now?
There's 12 more points. Just got to put yourself in the best setup you possibly can to hold down towards Barbers. You are getting those spawns. It's going to fall into the hands of the player that's sitting in towards top cantinas, cutting these players down. This is it. OpTic got a hold.
And they managed to do it. Zip the first line of defense. Can he jump in? No, he does not. 5 more points. Is this going to be it for Texas? They find 3. They find 4. And there you go. Winners bracket bound. OpTic Texas comes away with the dub. And have your moment, Dan Ghosty. Have your moment, Texas, to talk all the smack that you want. Beating Atlanta FaZe again. It's becoming a hobby at this point. 2-0 on the season, and with that, OpTic Texas now have another life come major time.
What a performance from OpTic Texas, man. Talking about the roster change at the beginning of this stage has been up and down. You get a win, you get a loss, you get a win, you get a loss. But the most important one came in this series versus Atlanta FaZe. You have to get this W to secure that winner's bracket at your own major. And they come out today, play absolutely lights out in all the respawns. Clutch up at the very end of these games. They fix the fundamentals going into today, and they get it done in 4, man. What a performance from both of these teams, but OpTic Texas just wanted a little bit more. They had that extra fire because they knew how impactful this series could have been. And they get it done, man. OpTic Texas secure their winners. They take the series. And what was a wild one, Lando. A wild one indeed, my friend.
Jay, just, my God. What a game, what a series. We said Texas are going to have to be flawless in the respawns, right? They're going to have to go 3 for 3. You're not going to match up